Shimoneta, A Boring World Where the Concept of Dirty Jokes Doesn't Exist, is a anime that aired in summer of 2015.
As you can probably tell by the name, it's sort of a, I wouldn't say dystopian future, but it's pretty bad.
I call it dystopian.
Okay, the end of Foreign's pretty bad. So basically, nothing remotely sexual is allowed. It's like UC Berkeley. No, I'm sorry.
It's also, quick note, it's isolated to Japan. It doesn't include outside countries other than that.
But basically, it's sort of 1984, the no porn edition. Everyone has these little, I believe it's on their wrist or necks.
They have both, actually.
Yeah.
They wear a watch-like thing on their wrist, which is pretty cool, actually. I'd almost want
It's
that
like
if
the
it wasn't
iPhones of the
connected
future.
to...
Yeah, and the bracelets basically will read all your hand movements, all your speeches, and if you were to...
Well, the neck does.
The neck, I'd assume, is what does the
Yeah.
speech movement, but it tracks what you're doing and saying.
And with these bracelets and necklaces, they're able to track what you're saying, and if you say anything that is lewd, that is sexual, that is anything that's, like, unhealthy in their opinions, then they will be arrested, they get punished, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, this show's got a special police force of their own in it, basically. It's called the Decency Squad, and they go around and just mess with people who...
And arrest them for...
just anybody who's doing anything dirty,
Yeah.
they come and arrest them, basically.
Like, the best example is in the very first scene of the show is you started off as a bunch of people are just looking at, nudie mags, something that's very normal in our society nowadays, and just a bunch of police people just come in and, arrest them all and burn the magazines because they're not healthy. They're not decent enough.
Yeah.
Basically, Japan is this head of morals because of all these radical changes for it. And it's very, there's benefits towards that kind of world, but at the same time, there's also a lot of consequences because of it.
Yeah.
But because it's seen as so healthy, it's not going away anytime soon.
Within the context of the show, at least.
Yeah, and I think that it kind of echoes a lot of the society that we have nowadays, which is kind of part of the themes that we will, discuss at further length later.
Yeah.
But it kind of goes along with the themes of, if you kind of look at our world, around us now, specifically in America, there's a lot of people who kind of, stop and, try to, prevent, sexuality, nudity, and stuff like that.
Don't talk it up too much, though. It's very much mostly a comedy.
Yeah, it's mostly a comedy more than anything
It's immature
else.
sex jokes.
I don't know. There's a lot of themes.
It's got underlying themes, but they're not. It's not. I mean, they're there, but a majority of people aren't watching the show for the themes. You're watching it because it's funny sex humor.
Well, yeah, and the themes come along with the humor behind it.
And most of the humor is, why the fuck are they showing this on TV?
Basically, this show is Eki with a point, which if you like that, you're probably gonna like this.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of censorship in it, and for example, they come out with an uncensored version and a censored version. And for people who are thinking of watching this, we highly suggest the censored version.
As ironic as that seems.
Yes, as ironic as that seems.
Because they don't show shit in the uncensored version anyways.
Yeah, and it's better that you get the illusion that they're showing things. And the censorship actually adds to a bit of the comedy behind a lot of the actions and words that they're saying.
Yeah, they don't use light bars or steam and stuff like that to censor. They're using these hilarious little stickers.
Yeah. It's always a chibi of the character.
Yeah. You're gonna say something?
Okay, yeah, I guess we'll move on and start talking about the actual characters themselves.
Yeah.
One of the actual main driving plots of the show is this character who we can't even talk about right now because of spoilers. But if you see anything about Shimoneta, it's probably about this person. She leads the show. She kind of derails it at a point, and it's not the character you'd usually expect. But as for the main leads, we have our main character, Okuma, who is the most hated character of the show, because it's just, for other reasons we can't explain. But, no, so basically Okuma is the guy, he's the resident, normal character. He comes in, he knows a bunch about, sex and stuff, but everyone else is, super ignorant towards it. and he's trying like really hard to become more pure and stuff. He's been inspired by like someone he saw from the school that he's moved to.
But the thing is that he comes and meets a person named Ayami, who is basically not as pure as she would seem to be, and he gets kind of wrapped up into terrorism, sexual terrorism, basically, which is not as bad as it sounds, because it's basically them running around throwing nudie cards at people and like putting like porn magazines everywhere and just kind of spreading around lewdness.
Yeah, they call it terrorism. It's more like shenanigans to me.
But so our two leads basically lead this kind of revolution in a way against the society that they're in.
And everyone kind of treats it like terrorism because of like how overreactionary everyone is to sexuality here.
Exactly.
And so basically, as you've told me before while you were watching this, that almost most of the characters in the show are very unique in their ways. Do you want to express on that?
I'd say most characters have at least one unique spin on them, maybe minus the main character. His uniqueness comes from sort of his past and stuff, and he's a constantly changing character, but people hate him. Ayami, she's quite interesting. She'll like just throw in random sexual words and stuff. She has this sort of obsession with just making dirty jokes, which is, it kind of gets annoying at a point, but they throw a spin on it later that makes it a little bit more bearable, or you might call her even more hypocritical. It depends on.
Yeah. And not only that, but besides the two mains, the rest of the cast are mostly unique and very kind of interesting spins on different tropes that you would think that they would be.
Most of the cast, they're not trying to sort of stick them to a trope. It's more like, how can we get as many jokes as possible from this character? Yeah. So they'll just throw sort of random stuff onto them.
Yeah, and you don't have a lot of repeat characters or anything like that either. They do a good job of keeping the cast diverse.
Yeah, it's only 12 episodes, so it's a very quick watch, a very worthwhile watch specifically. And to tie up this section, would you guys recommend the show?
I would recommend the show if you are okay with Eki. If you can't stand Eki, don't watch it, but otherwise, go for it. It's also hilarious.
It's also very sexuality sort of light. They'll touch on like basic topics of stuff, like they'll touch on like masturbation or normal like porn, gay porn, stuff like that. But they don't really go super in depth for it. If you're looking for something like that, I'd more suggest Prison School.
Yeah, this is more. I feel like this is more thematic based a little bit. Like again,
this is a shonen, so they're going to be talking about sort of stuff that like teenagers think about when they think about sexuality. Yeah, which fits because the cast is a bunch of teenagers. They are in a high school, so that's actually I would say one of the places where a high school actually is merited, to have
the
that
school setting actually.
The school setting is
worth having.
So, in my opinion, I would say I highly suggest you watch this. It's a really good watch, really funny, and if you feel like ever dropping it, at least get to
episode 6 is where it kind of. That's sort of the shock episode.
Yeah,
you should record your own reaction or something.
Yeah, you get to the halfway point, and if you get to the halfway point and if you still don't like it, then drop it. But if you enjoy it, then go on, finish it. Because
highly suggest watching behind locked doors.
Exactly. Do not watch this in public. But it's 12 episodes, fantastic. I think you should watch it. 10 out of 10.
No, I'd say 8 out of maybe 7 or 8 is pretty.
I'd give it 8 out of 10.
8 out of
7 10? I'd give it 7 out of 10.
7.5 maybe.
I'm going 7 out of 10.
Okay,
I really liked it, but it's not perfect.
Yeah. Again, don't expect this mind-blowing anime, but
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot of shock and it's a lot of craziness.
Yeah, if you want
something to talk about, I would suggest watching.
If you want to talk about it, if you want to have some fun and just kind of be entertained,
exactly,
totally watch this.